If you're running a workshop, whether it's face-to-face or online, there are 8 legal things that you need to think about. The first is branding, or the trademark, the name of your course. I had a client who is nationally recognized now. She started running a course which is very well known now, and she gave it a particular name. And when I came to register that as a trademark for her, we discovered that somebody else had that name registered as a trademark. So she was at risk of having to pay back all of the profits she had made under that course to the trademark owner. Trademark is not the same as a business name. The second thing to think about is copyright. What are you creating in your course? What are you putting into your course? Make sure that you're not infringing somebody else's copyright. I had a client who's a big university in New Zealand. They spent millions and millions and millions of dollars creating a new course, and they had different contractors and consultants creating different parts of the material for them. Once they'd created it, they asked me to come in and look at their course. And when I looked at it, it just didn't gel for me. So I looked up some of the phrases on the internet, and they had taken big chunks of the course from the internet. At the end of the day, they couldn't actually use the course material, and they ended up scrapping the whole course and starting again. And it can be as simple as just borrowing an image that you don't have authority to borrow, and that can cause you thousands of dollars in damages, and might make you have to scrap part of your course. So be very careful. Don't copy anything that anybody else has done, because you could be up for copyright infringement. The other thing is contracts. Have you learnt what you're teaching from somebody else, and what did their contract say? Did their contract say that this is for you to use in your own business, and did it prohibit you from teaching other people? Or is it something that you've developed yourself? So contract is the third thing to think about. The fourth thing is your own terms and conditions, the limitations that you are going to place on your attendees. Is there anything you don't want them to do with the material you're teaching them? So for example, I met a lady yesterday who teaches Reiki, and she was quite concerned about what people would do once they had learnt these techniques from her. So some of her courses might be for people just to do Reiki with family. Some of them might be for them to do them with members of the public. She might advise them to first have insurance before they provide healthcare to other people. So the main limitation that people who run courses and workshops would want to have is that if I come to your workshop, are you happy for me to take what I've learned from you and create my own course and teach somebody else? I've had a high-profile public relations person in Australia who runs courses all the time, and when I first met her, her terms and conditions weren't up to scratch, and she had a couple of people come on her course, take what she had learned, and then package it up themselves and try and teach other people. And of course, that didn't work because they didn't have the depth of her knowledge, but still they managed to funnel her potential clients to them rather than those potential clients coming to her. So what about disclaimers? What things are you not going to be responsible for if people attend your course? So for example, if you attend any of my courses where I teach you a bit about the law and running a business, I am not promising to make you into a lawyer. I am promising to teach you little bits about the law that you might need to know in order to run your business effectively and hopefully keep out of legal hot water. I'm not claiming to teach you how to be a lawyer. If somebody's teaching you about fitness, that they can't promise any particular result, or if you're following their program, you need to do it in a safe way. You might need to get medical advice first. So those are disclaimers where you're limiting the responsibility you might have. Up to number 6 now is, what does the participant have to do? What is their obligation? What is their commitment to the course? And so I act for a lady who does a lot of teaching to other coaches, and she helps them increase their social media following. But of course, it's not going to happen if her participants are not following the steps that she teaches. And so she's had a few people come back to her and say, well, I've paid you for your course, but it doesn't work. your process is rubbish. But actually what has happened is that they haven't followed her process properly. So it's not her process or her teaching that's rubbish, it's the participants expecting overnight success, and they're not following the steps that she teaches. So it's important, if you're running courses, especially if you're trying to teach a skill, to make sure that you convey to your participants what their obligations are. The number 7th thing is insurance. When you're running courses face to face, insurance is something to think about. Now, I'm not an insurance expert, but I do recommend that you get an insurance broker and you speak to the insurance broker about all sorts of insurance requirements, necessities. So, for example, I had a client who was running workshops, and one of her volunteers bumped the desk, and on the desk was a participant's brand new iPad. The volunteer bumped the desk, knocked the participant's iPad off, and it smashed. And then the question was, who's liable for that repairs or replacement of the iPad? Is it the participant? Is it the person running the course? Or is it the venue at which the course is being held? And so it's worthwhile getting insurance to cover off those aspects, but also in your terms and conditions to say what you are and are not liable for. Number 8, social media release. Often when people are running courses, face-to-face workshops, even online, they like to use photographs or other videos on social media to promote what they've done. You might want to have a social media release that they sign to say they're happy for you to put their photos on social media. They are happy for you to use any videos that you create, which might feature them for part of your promotional material. Even if you're doing it online, so for example, like with Zoom, I have seen some people where you've got all the participants on the page. You see them all the way around the screen, and people take a screen grab of that and then they use it on social media to say, I had 20 participants on my online course. It's worth just getting people to agree to the social media release which says, I'm happy for you to use my image in that way. Talk about trademarks, copyright, contracts, limitations, disclaimers, participants' requirements, social media sign-off, and insurance. My name is Cathryn Warburton. My clients call me the Legal Lioness.